So today I'm really going to talk to you about one thing only, which may be a rare thing that we talk about when it comes to moving on with grace. And so this last and final thing I want to say to you today, as you are moving on with grace, cultivate gratitude. Be thankful and be thankful to God. So even in the midst of change, even in the midst of hurt, even in the midst of pain, and as you are carrying those wounds and you are coming out of it and you're stepping out, there are always blessings to be thankful for. There are always gifts that we were given along the way to be grateful for. Okay? As I was coming out of my bad relationship and going through that divorce and coming out of that time, moving on with grace, I was so grateful to God that He gave me 2 children. I was so grateful to God that in that marriage, I had 2 kids. I was grateful to God. And there were other things that I learned and grew from and learned in that marriage. I was grateful to God. So there's always something to be grateful. I was grateful that God kept me. I was grateful that God kept my mind. I could have lost my mind. I was grateful that the Lord kept my kids. I was grateful that He kept me. Okay. And so many other things I was thankful for. So many gifts that I was given along the way, even though I was going through a traumatic time and a traumatic season in my life. So there's always blessings to be grateful for and thankful for. So there is a small practice that I do when I find myself in those type of situations. So start each day by listing things you are grateful for. Sometimes you got to get it down on paper. Sometimes we forget because the pain is so much. Write it down on paper. Make a list of the things to be grateful for. Okay, that came out of that relationship, that came out of that situation. I remember one time I was a teacher many, many years ago, and I got hired at this school, a private school, and I went and worked for this school as a teacher. And boy, the principal was horrid to work for. It was a terrible situation. The Lord said to me, I'm not going to let you go out of here. You're going to have to. I wanted to leave after 1 week of working there. And the Lord said, no, stay the entire year, finish the entire year. And I was like, Lord, there is no way I can take this. This woman is evil. She's brutal. I don't like how she's treating the kids. I do not like her philosophy. I do not want to be in this. And the Lord said, you have to stay. And so I stayed the whole year. By the time I left that school at the end of the year and got my new job, I had a binder, a 3-inch binder filled with things that I learned about leadership. Working under that woman's administration, under her, I learned so many things about leadership, so many things not to do, so many things to do, so many things I would never do. I got gifts upon gifts, how to treat people, how to speak people, how to lead, what not to do, how to deal with parents. I mean, so structure. I learned so much in that situation. In that year, it was tormenting. It was the most tormenting year in my career, but I was given a gift. I was given a gift to learn about leadership in that horrible situation. So when I walked out of there, like I said, I had a physical 3-ring binder, 3-inch binder filled with things that I learned. So this practice will shift your focus from looking at the loss to blessings, looking at the blessings that are still in your life, or looking at the blessings that you got as a result of that situation. So it will transform your entire perspective from what you think you have lost to the abundance that you have, that you still have, and that you have gained through that experience. It will really change your perspective. So as we close this series, remember that moving on with grace is not just about getting past something. It's not just about getting through something quickly. It's not just about getting something really fast and moving on. It's about growing through it. You want to grow through this thing. It's about emerging stronger. It's about emerging wiser and getting more aligned with God's purpose and plan for your life. Thank you for joining me on this podcast episode today. You can go to PastorChristineDesiree.com for more information about me and this podcast ministry. Like and follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Pastor Christine Desiree. Let's step forward into grace together, guys, anticipating the wonderful future that God has planned for us. God has a plan for you. And remember, you are not just surviving, but you are thriving in Jesus.